Morning, significant changes and initiatives coming to the VA. Important news, obviously, for our veterans and their families. Today, we do have the honor of speaking with Secretary of Department of Veterans Affairs, Doug Collins. And Secretary Collins, good morning to you. Thank you for joining me at this early hour.
Good morning, Jane. It's always good to be with my good folks from North Carolina.
All right. Well, you've been at the helm there over at the VA now for over 100 days. Share your vision this morning for the department and what principles are guiding your leadership.
Well, thanks for letting me come on today. I think one of the biggest things is my vision is simply helping veterans. It's making sure that the veteran who served our country get the benefits that they've earned. And I think that's something that is the sacred trust of the VA. I've had the privilege of coming into Asheville. I've been up in the other parts of North Carolina. I'll be back in there in the state again coming up real soon. But one of the things that I want our veterans to understand is the focus now on the VA is simply about the veteran. We're trying to make everything possible we can to make it easier to get their benefits, get their health care, get everything that they need in a timely, efficient manner. And we're doing everything we can to cut out the bureaucracy. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I want them to understand is everything we do is about them.
Yeah, you visited Asheville, and again, looking forward to your next visit to the Tar Heel State. And really across the country, you visit many facilities. What are your observations of the areas and that could use some improvement?
Well, I think the biggest thing is I've visited a lot of hospitals, a lot of states now. And the one thing that still strikes me is that the VA is a large system. We're 170 hospitals, 1,200 clinics and all. But unfortunately, at times it does appear that we all run as 170 siloed hospitals. It doesn't seem to say the only commonality they have at times is that they got the VA logo on the front of the building. And I think that hinders our capabilities of taking care of veterans in a unified way, making sure that we're being efficient in how we do things, making sure they get the same answer. I had a veteran yesterday tell me that they had moved from one state to another, and he told me that at one the hospitals he went to, they did it one way, then they went to another one and said they can't do it that way, and they did it in another. These are all within the VA system. So what I'm trying to do is empower our folks to understand that when we have some conformity, when we have some synchronization on how we do things, it actually helps us not only take care of the veterans in individual areas, but also take care of us as we make sure that we're efficient with the dollars and the people that we have.
And in one of the other changes you talked about, Secretary Collins, is bringing thousands of VA employees back to work in person. What's the reasoning behind that?
Because I just believe especially in our hospitals, they've been coming to work every day, and they were the stars during COVID. They've been doing it every day. But I think it's also just better for our employees, and it's just better for the productivity and the face-to-face. The VA is a service organization, and for many times it's actually better. Like especially if you have folks who are doing similar things where they're working in administration, call centers, these kind of things, they can actually have more interaction between their colleagues and not just a video on a screen or a voicemail. They can actually have interaction saying, hey, I had this issue today. What are you seeing? How are you handling this? I just think this is a better way to do business. Most of America is coming back to work in person. We're seeing that now. We still have areas that are going to be used telework. We're still going to have to do telemedicine. We're still going to have those exceptions where it comes in. But right now, it's also interesting to see it's happening right here at Central Office up in Washington, D.C. The lunch lines and the breakfast lines are getting longer, and we see people back in working.
All right. And you've also, your administration, redirecting millions of dollars in what you've termed non-mission critical efforts to those direct health care and benefits. If you would elaborate on these funds and how they would be, how they were previously allocated, and then how they're going to be allocated in the future.
Yeah, we've looked at our contracts, and we're just really getting started in a small percentage of those, but yet found really hundreds of millions of dollars in stuff that we didn't need to be doing. They were taking, for meeting notes and PowerPoint presentations and things that, frankly, we could be doing in-house. We were finding, episodes in which we were paying contracts to do that was taking longer to do it through contract than training one of our employees in our informational technology department to actually do it themselves with less time and less money. And we're taking that money and moving it toward healthcare, community care networks, moving into our infrastructure for our information systems, such as our health records management system, doing those kind of things so we can make our veteran experience better because of it.
And I mean, really, there's so many changes that probably they sound like welcome changes to veterans and their families. What is that first step then?
I think it's the first step of getting, and frankly, that's what we're still working on, is making sure that there's as a system as large as we are, there's a very much of a resistance to change. There's a lot of invested entities, from Congress to media to unions to everybody else, and they're invested in the system as it is. But the system as it is broken. GAO has said for 10 years we're on a high risk list for not doing what we're supposed to be doing. So for me, it's let's stop pushing the can down the road. Let's stop picking on the VA. Let's start making, them the example of bureaucracy and everything else. Let's actually start fixing problems. So at the end of the day, we're going to fix problems that help the VA become what it's supposed to be, and that is a premier service organization for veterans in this country.
What kind of time frame are you looking at? Are we looking at some major changes that are tangible for our veterans by the end of the year?
Yeah, we are. They're going to start seeing it. I mean, some of our force restructuring, some of our monies that are going, the different emphasis on community care and how we actually do that. I know that was a big concern when I talked to our Asheville folks and also other hospitals. Some are doing it better than others, but we're knocking down the barriers to our employees being able to do what they need to do. And this is something that I want all of them to see and hear from me, is that if you're working for us in the VA, find solutions and find the problems and find a solution. Don't find a problem and then, think you have to send it up the little chain 5 times and then never get anything done. Sometimes you just need to fix problems. And I think that's what I want to have our empowerment all the way down to our, to the newest employee, to the surgeon in our press, or even up here in the central office, to make sure that we're solving problems, not just simply having committee meetings about them.
All right. And what is your message to veterans directly and their families this morning?
Thank you, number one, for your service, but also thank you for, if you use our VA system, thank you for being a part. Let us know how we're helping, how we're not, how we can do it better. But also tell other veterans about the system if they want to take advantage of that benefit. They are always welcome. We would love to have them more. But also to the veterans out there, take care of each other, especially in the Tar Heel State. As you said, you've got a lot of great bases. You've got a lot of folks in DOD, a lot of special operators, a lot of folks in there that need to make sure that we take care of each other. And as a veteran myself, those are the kind of things that I want every veteran to realize. It's not just when you were in that you leave nobody behind. We don't leave anybody behind now. And we have plenty of resources that they can dial 988 on the veteran crisis line. They can talk at any point if they're having issues. We cannot let our veterans down in that area.
Secretary Collins, thank you for sharing your time with us this morning. A message to veterans and their families that I know that they could use and are happy to hear from you directly.
It's always good to talk to you. Take care.